For those of you who are looking a fragrance that breaks every mold that designers put out anyway, if you're tired of people taking their own version of a Ventus or a blue fragrance or whatever, you might want to stay tuned. What's up fam, it's Cam and welcome back to CFR. So what I'm talking about today is Moschino Toy Boy. This little fella showed up a little while back when I did a haul video. It was eBay haul video, and I had mentioned how my son and I had actually spotted this at a local Belk. We were actually out and about and we went around the entire ring of fragrances, just, you know, seeing if there's something I've missed, something maybe worth buying, reviewing, etc. And I had seen this little bear on a couple of thumbnails, and that's as far as it went. And my son actually spotted, I'm like, look Dad, and I was like, I've been looking to see what that guy smells like. So I hadn't seen any reviews, hadn't seen any ad campaigns or anything. I'm just like, okay, this is a little different for a men's fragrance. But then when I actually saw the marketing campaign, okay, this is a naughty little fella. I think that's probably where he broke a chain or something, or some S&M. This is probably, as far as like the marketing for this, is probably the most risque since Rocha Man, and that's just because the bottle looks like it belongs in an adult toy store, bookstore, if you catch what I'm saying. So anyway, yeah, very bold with their campaign, very bold with this fragrance. This breaks any mold of any designer fragrance that's out. Now, when I did first smell this, my mind did say, okay, I've smelled something like this before, but I've not smelled a designer like this before, something niche. And I had actually just picked up a couple of fragrances from the Twisted Lily when it went out of business, and I got some samples. And this is actually what I've got left, but one of those samples was Byrd 11th Hour. So like when I came home, I was like, God, what was it? And then I sprayed this on, which I actually have on this hand right now, and I have Toy Boy on this hand right here. And at first, I did feel that they were pretty similar in a few aspects. And then after looking up the notes on it and everything, there are a few similar notes. You've got cashmere woods in Byrd 11th Hour, and you have it also in Toy Boy. You have bergamot in 11th Hour. You also have it in Toy Boy. But outside of that, this does have a much darker element. It does have some tonka bean. It also has some rum. So it does give it like a really boozy accord. So Byrd 11th Hour was actually marketed as a unisex, but I actually find it much more masculine than I do Toy Boy. But, this is a very good men's fragrance. But if you don't like florals, I don't know if you'll like this or not. This does have a light aspect to it as well as some depth. It does have a freshness about it. It has a little bit of bergamot in the opening. You have a little bit of pink pepper with some elemi and some pear. So you're gonna get those sweet and fresh elements from the bergamot and the pear and the elemi. And it does have a rose note. Now, mind you, I know rose can be a very challenging note, as well as florals in general, especially for guys in certain aspects. Now, if people see rose in fragrance, sometimes they automatically like, no, I can't wear rose. And there's been times with certain fragrances with me, especially even some rose and oud fragrances, you know, just depend on how it's blended. I can take it, sometimes I can't. Sometimes I love florals, sometimes I hate them. This is an example where I like this because the rose note in here is not jammy, it's not thick, it's light and airy. It almost is, I don't know, almost like grinded up into like very just soft nuances of rose in here, but you are going to catch that in here. One note that's also in here that may be a deal breaker besides the rose is cloves. Now, it's not going to be a deep and dark cloves like you're going to get like in Tobacco Vanille. This is going to be ever so slightly in there, but I would just say test it, you know, sample it, make sure, you know, if it does sound interesting to you. So like I said, you're going to have the breakdown of a lot of different things going on in the opening, but once you get to that dry down, you're primarily going to get those florals mixed with woods, that cashmere woods, and then a really nice musk, and it's not going to be like an animalic musk. It's just going to be a sexy musk. As far as the performance, longevity, sillage on this, I would definitely say that all three are above average. Sillage for me is a good arm's length. I do have very long arms, and of course that is going to depend on how many sprays you do. This one actually has an amazing atomizer on it. It's very similar to the atomizers that are on like Nasomato. You can control how much, whether it be a little or a lot. So I actually like that about this. But if you give yourself a good full 3 or 4 sprays, that's going to be plenty for you to get 9-10 hours, maybe more, just depending on how your body holds fragrance and how many times you spray. I have seen people say that this fragrance is more geared for fall and winter, but I think it is versatile enough that it could be worn year-round. I did mention not long ago that I like to wear more daring and unique fragrances during the warmer months, even though, you know, primarily that's what we get. So I think that might be part of it, because I like to try different things out when it's a little bit warmer, because as your body heats up, as you get that, you know, body heat and chemistry and everything going, you can really, you know, test a fragrance out, whether it's just going to peter off or if it's going to do something special. This one does something special, especially in the higher heat. In the cooler weather, you could probably get away with, you know, a spray or two more than what you would in the summertime, because this one will choke somebody out, I think, if you go beyond 4 sprays. As far as the price on this, it has come down a little bit. Full retail for this, when I first saw it, was close to $100. It has dropped a little bit. It kind of peaks in and out of discounters. You can find these on eBay. Just be careful who you buy from. Always make sure that you check and see if they are, you know, have a good reputation or not. If they have some sketchy, especially like in the past 6 months, you see that they've had, you know, 8 marks against them or something, 86 for sure. If they are, you know, 100% positive and they're selling this for 60 bucks, jump on it. But I still would recommend sampling this. If you have a local Macy's or whatever the store may be, you know, if you live in another country, I know we have a lot of people that watch this channel from Australia and Germany, United Kingdom, wherever you may be. Thank you for your support. I don't know what kind of stores you have. So if you do get a chance to smell this, definitely go out and sample it. I would definitely say that this is a versatile fragrance. I would also say that this does lean slightly feminine and slightly youthful, but that doesn't mean this like it's strictly for the youth or strictly feminine. You know, it just depends on what your personal taste is. I don't mind wearing fragrances like this. I do like unisex fragrances. I do like really manly, masculine fragrances, and I also like some that lean a little bit feminine. I don't like them, you know, going severely feminine. There are a couple in my collection that are actually marketed for women but actually smell more masculine to me. So this one was marketed for men but easily could be pulled off by the right woman. This is Eau de Parfum concentration and was released in 2019. So it's still a relatively new fragrance, and if you haven't had a chance to check it out, I would highly recommend sampling it. So if you're one of those people in the comments that are tired of another take of Aventus or another take of Baccarat Rouge 540, even though I did find a couple of resemblance of a fragrance that a lot of you may not have even heard of, this might be something to check out. It's definitely doing its own thing, making its own path. Who knows, it might set its own trend for people trying to come up with more unique DNAs, especially on the designer side of things. Until next time, we'll see you next time on Carolina Fragrance Reviews.